Hello, welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. We're going to talk pick five, late pick five action for the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream Park for Saturday. Check out all the great content on the channel for this week's racing. We've got you covered there. As always, free to subscribe. So hit that subscribe button, click that like button. We got 5 races to cover, so we're going to get right after it. Jumping into race number 9, the 12 furlong turf. The 4-year-olds and up, William McKnight. And we are looking at limited liability first. Second in the prime power, Frankie Dettori aboard. That one's automatically going to get a look from me when anytime I see Frankie D. Second to integration in the Red Smith, which is big time. A big 500K stakes victory at Kentucky Downs, big time. So definitely in play, and it does have the chops to run long distances, as you can see here. We got the 2 and a 16th. We got the 2. So we know the horse can roll. So a mile and a half should be just fine. California Frolic, we're going to pass with a vengeance there. Cathkin Peak, I did not end up going with either. Golden Eye, I believe the next couple of them were just not close until I got to the 5th horse, Anglophile. This one looked a little better. A couple of good finishes in the last couple of stakes races. 5-year-old by English Channel, somewhat competitive, has run versus like horses like Grand Sonata and Web Slinger in the past, program trading, Shagoi. So Bold Act, who's in this race as well. So no stranger to competition there. So just on the experience level, Anglophile's worth a look. And Lord Eddard Start, no thanks. I think Harrow, I gave Harrow a little bit of a look, but the next horse I was really serious about, not Yamato, was Rock Emperor. You can see all the grade 2 recent runnings. A couple of 4th place finishes, 2nd place in the grade 3 back in the spring. So he's got some skill. I like Philip D'Amato. I like Dylan Davis. So the horse does have the pedigree to go the distance, run a mile and a half, just the last out. So plenty good enough to compete, I think. Number 10, Utah Beach is a competitor too. Ignacio Correas. T-Gath is always dangerous when you get him loose. The Sycamore, the 103 was pretty impressive here in the Sycamore, and then came back and just missed it by a head, going 2 miles. So we are cutting back a half a mile of distance. Now, what you have to think about here is when you run these mile and a half and further races, is the pace. They don't run at a fast pace. They can't because, that's why you see minus 27, minus 25, minus 23 for these lengthier races. So you're just not going to have that pace. But he's got some really good numbers, Utah Beach. So Bold Act, Godolphin, William Buick, Charlie Appleby. Like I said, when I look at these races, as I reported in the Philly Mare video on the turf, when it comes to these longer turf races, I like to look to the Euros. I like to look to guys like Charlie Appleby. You have William Buick, the horse Bold Act. Probably the top choice. Highway Robbery was right. He got clipped by a nose by Highway Robbery, and it was a legit head bob where they were literally like seesawing back and forth. And it was just the one going forward and one was going backward at the right time. So just a flip of the coin basically decided that race. So number 12, Cash Equity, I don't think should be dismissed either. You get down to here, and then you got the also eligibles, which Capture the Flag, maybe, but I would have looked at a little bit. But none of these, I don't think, garner much attention if there are scratches. But Cash Equity runs some pretty good figures and some great stakes. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. A little under the weather today. So lots of closing seconds and thirds over the summer, going just eight to nine furlongs. So stretching out to distance, I mean, you got 8.5 here, average wind distance 9.4 for this Dams sire. So the pedigree should be able to get the distance. So why not? I mean, you're closing, got a closer here, getting to second, getting to third, going a mile. It's logic, but it's a completely different race. Like I said just a few minutes ago, going from a mile to a mile and a half race are two completely different animals. So maybe the slower pace that the horse can run along with, because you can see the pace numbers here are not very good for the distance traveled. So maybe the change in distance and strategies might help. The change in jockey will definitely help. Irad is one of the best out there. So uh, not any interest in the AEs. We'll cross that bridge when we have to, but it is going to be Bold Act number 11. Appleby, I think, is going to get her done. In one or the other, you got the two turf marathons. This one for 4-year-olds and up, open, and then you have the Prevoyante, and that one is for fillies and mares. So that one is he's got a horse in Beautiful Love in that one as well. I believe he's going to win one or both of these turf marathons. Just my opinion. So what I would do is on a bet I'd go 11 and then use the 9, the 1, 9, 10, and 12 underneath in like a trifecta key or something like that. But 11 would be your key horse, Bold Act. Leg one is going to be 1, 9, 11, and 12. We're going to go 4 wide on the first leg of the pick 5. Race number 10 is the filly and mare turf. So go watch that video. I full breakdown of everything on that video. And what you will find out is that I landed on Sacred Wish and then a Rakia close second. So leg number 2 is going to be 1 and 10 for the pick 5. And Be Your Best would be interesting to add in as well. That would be my third choice. But we're going to go too deep for the value here. Now, going to race number 11 is the inside information. That's what we all want, isn't it? Inside information, 7 furlongs on the dirt, changing it up a little bit. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, looking for some speed. Number 1 ain't it. Nick Style got some punch. Got some state bred races, like the one just last out was a state bred race. So we don't really know if she's as good as advertised, but I mean, you can see you got, you know, 5 of 6, and then the Gallant Bloom Ways and Means was the only second place. Ways and Means, very good, and starting to dial into that 7 furlong distance for Ways and Means, being a specialist and one of the best at it. So I don't knock Nick's style. That tells me Nick's style is probably pretty good. Went in the slop, maybe a little better on some sounder footing. Nick's style in the mix. Sterling Silver, I saw got some talk. Also built on entry, third in the same race that we talked about. Pair of seconds after that as the post time favorite. So she was beaten favorite twice in a row on sub one odds, sub even money odds, but did finish second in those 2 stakes races that were black stakes, I believe. Seven. So I don't think there's going to be like the cutback or anything going a mile down to 7. That for a horse like this, I don't think is the cutback in distance going to do any good for the closer. So Sterling Silver, you could use in the pick 5. I'd definitely be considering for exotics. Number 4, Holland Ice, beaten soundly by a couple horses here. I don't think she's ready for the jumping class. I mean, she finished 7th twice versus these same horses, basically. So I think we're going to pass on that one. Dazzling Move, we're going to definitely pass on. Jody's Pride is the 6th horse, and this one's an interesting wild card type horse. Luis Saez aboard for Jorge Abreu was once an aspiring Kentucky Oaks contender, second to just FYI in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies back a couple years ago. And then the connections thought that she would go to turf. So she ran in the Ashland, didn't fare very well in the Ashland, then took a bunch of time off, and then they dropped her in at Aqueduct going a mile on the turf in the Pebbles. Finished fourth and just kind of ran evenly across the board, tracked them and improved so much, but wasn't really all that. So evidently they didn't see anything that said, hey, we got it right with the move to turf. So they're going back to the dirt and back to a sprint. So maybe that does the needed angle for you. But whatever they saw there, they're going back to the sprint. So that was the first off a long layoff. So I don't know the turf to dirt angle for Abreu could get her done here. Luis Saez aboard, can't miss that. So, but a definite contender is Mystic Lake. Safi Joseph, Irad. You can see the 100 down here in the victory ride. Close second place finish, going 6.5 to Emery, who's in this race, but has run against Torpedo Anna and has run against this win down here in the Oaks, the Charlestown Oaks, right here going 7 was really good. Beat My Main Squeeze, who's a very good horse, big winner, I believe, on Derby Day last year, but a good 7 furlong to a miler type horse. So Mystic Lake, definite contender. Olivia Darling, definitely not in my book. Emery is the one to beat, in my opinion. Raven Run, winner, beat My Main Squeeze, beat Fibber, lost to Ways and Means, like I said, but Ways and Means really starting to get in there. That test, 7 furlongs in the mud. Ways and Means, off track, low key off track, good too. When you if you run into Ways and Means and you got a sloppy sealed muddy track or whatever, Ways and Means gets a bump. But Ways and Means not in this race, so let's finish it up with Emery as the overwhelming choice in this race, trained by Brad Cox. Similar to Nick's style, second best of Ways and Means, but the grade one test, a much tougher race versus My Main Squeeze. Denim and Pearls was in that race. T-Gaff should have her in perfect striking distance, right behind the pace setter. I'm not worried about outside 9. I'm not worried about post position number 9 going 7 furlongs with this horse because he can press, and I think he can get out there just fine and get over it. And all it takes is 1 or 2 defections inside it to move her over just a touch. So I'm not worried about the post position. Some people might, but I'm not. So basically, leg 3, we're going 7 and 9. I'm going to give Mystic Lake a shot too. I think those two are your choices. So we're going to go too deep there, and we're going to move on to I believe race number 12. This is going to be leg 4. Race number 12 is the turf for the 4-year-olds and up. Also, go check the video out on that one. Got a really strong race here. So you'll want to watch the preview to get a profile on all the entries. It really whittled down to Nation's Pride, the top choice in integration to win. I just like it. I guess if you want to call it a mild upset, but you can see it's a pretty big difference in the prime power. So integration, it might be a mild upset considering Formidable Man is one that's been highly touted, even though it's ninth in prime power. It's really got 3 straight wins. I mean, a grade 2. I mean, tore up Delmar over the summer and the fall. 3 straight wins there. The Oceanside up to the Delmar Derby to the grade 1 Hollywood Derby. So you can't beat that. And then the horse that came in second there in the Hollywood Derby wheeled back to win next out. So pretty solid markers for Formidable Man. May get some little bit of value on that one, possibly. But the ones that and I mean, this was really actually a tougher choice. 7th was Miarano Ramon, who ran some really good back-to-back races out west. A win and a second in grade 2 company. Win for the money. Was a Breeders' Cup Mile participant. Didn't fare very well, but won grade 1 Woodbine Mile on the turf back in September. And then just came in third behind 2 horses in this race, Major Dude and Fort Washington. So there's integration, just nothing but class. Red Smith winner. The Turf Cup, I think was there's highway robbery again sneaking in there on us. But Grand Sonata got the win there. Nation's Pride underneath beat Integration. I think the Arlington Million is where we stand with these two horses, Nation's Pride and Integration. I think the as long as they don't get any unforeseeable bad trips, I think these horses are one two. Major Dude though, it was a really nice win to back up the allowance win in the Florida uh, Derby Grade Two there, going a mile and an eighth at Gulfstream. So uh, this is distance and track. I ran aboard Ty Pletcher. So I could be way off on this because Major Dude is run up against some good horses. He took on Carl Spackler, ran fifth in that race in the 4 Star Dave, but still pretty good company. Big Everest, Talk of the Nation, Gigante, whole bunch of good competition down there. So Major Dude is a Major Dude, obviously. But then you have Nation's Pride, Godolphin, the Manhattan second place, the Man of War third place. Really got off to a bit of an auspicious start coming in May, uh, failing to get a win until the summer in the Arlington Million, going at a very slow pace, and that mile and a quarter on the turf. So this one is just a slight cutback in distance, but did not do very good in this Bahrain International. I draw a line through that because going back looking, the he ran in it last year. The Bahrain didn't fare very well either. The course is like a triangle, similar to Kentucky Downs type design. It's a reverse order of travel, so different race altogether. So Nation's Pride's had more than enough United States races to prove that he's one of the best at going our standard oval turn, two turns, and going around the counterclockwise or left turn rotation. Spirit of St. Louis, I didn't really give a big look to, but does have Chad Brown as a trainer, and Chad Brown on the turf. We all know his prowess. So T Gaff in the saddle, a whole bunch of wins right here underneath in these minor stakes state breds. So I don't know, but jumped up to the turf mile at Keeneland, but really didn't fare all that great. That was Carl Spackler. So that was some definitely big time competition. Beat Jerry the Nipper and City Man. So not too bad there in the Mohawk, but a little bit under a couple rungs low on the ladder compared to horses like Nation's Pride and Integration. So, like I said, Nation's Pride, Integration, those are the two that I will be using for leg four. Nation's Pride number 7, I believe Integration was what? 5. So 5-7. Now, for the grand finale, obviously, we are going to come out. I'm going to put a little betting video together, I think, by tomorrow and do some final analysis on this last race because I really didn't. We didn't have past performances and we didn't have post draws when I did the original preview video, but it is pretty much in there. So I was actually pretty high on locked to win. Some might say that 11 posts is not favorable, but I am coming around on um well, Saudi Crown can make a run. The he likes to get out front and go, but going this might be just pushing it a hair. It has gone. I mean, the Pennsylvania Derby got it done going 9 furlongs, but I'm not really sure. This is not Dreamlike and Il Miracolo, so we'll find out what he's got coming up. New Grange, not going to do it. For some reason, I thought this was a Baffert horse, so my apologies on previous video. New Grange is Jose D'Angelo. No thanks, passing. White Abarrio, probably number 1 for a reason. Definitely rounding into form. The second place was got stuck in the gate a little bit. If you watch the preview video, I showed you a picture of it. It was almost like a still photo for about a split second. Got out slow, off slow, wide upper, but came home gamely. So I think if he gets a good break in his mid pack somewhere, 3 or 4 lengths off the lead going around the turn, he's going to be live. So White Abarrio. Now, Crouppy, people like Crouppy. Crouppy can close. Crouppy might be picking off tired horses if the pace is contested. But Crouppy, this is just not quite, I think, a race Crouppy can excel in. Maybe the mile and 3/8, like the Brooklyn down here, is a little bit better. Mile and a quarter, a little bit longer distance. So that's usually where I like to see Crouppy. Todd Pletcher, Rapoli, nice combination there. Stronghold. I am definitely in favor of Stronghold in this race. I really like the Malibu race as a setup, as maybe this horse is starting to learn to run faster because it looks like he has the ability to be faster. He just doesn't do it. So he like hits that turn and in the straightaway, like was ahead Bob from Seize the Gray at the top of the stretch, and then just couldn't keep up. Same thing with Dragoon Guard, second-itis in the last several races. So the back to back, the Sunland and the Santa Anita Derby. I mean, of course, EJ won the Cup, won his next race. Uh, I can't remember the name of that horse right there, but that's in italics. Won its next out. So imagination, okay, Lucky Jeremy. Yeah, maybe they didn't turn out to be the top horses or anything like that, but this one I think is going to be a competitor in this race. Steel Sunshine, I don't. Vitality, I don't either. Mystik Dan, if you think he's training good coming up, returning to a route, sharp workout, Kenny McPeak, it won't surprise me if he runs well, but I still think that there's 3 other horses that are better than he is. This one is one of them, Skippy Longstocking. People just I don't know if it's a lack of respect, but you can see all the wins. I mean, grade two, grade three, uh, competitive in the Stephen Foster, the Whitney. It seems like he lands in these grade one races against really good horses. So he doesn't have those grade one races where he's beating weak horses. Ran third behind Cody's Wish, National Treasure in the BC Dirt Mile in 2023. I mean, the horse is tough enough. So if he gets the drop on him, he could get out there and get loose like he did in Charlestown when he won the grade two. So a stretch, probably my third choice. Locked, I would pick ahead. Listed as a closer, but I think more of a presser. Can run pretty much any style he wants to. I mean, you can see the maiden victory here. He got out second and then just blew right by him. Uh, that was drumroll please who won his next race out. Ran third behind Muth, and that was more of a stalking. But that's a BC juvenile. It's a way different race. But you can see in the optional claimer up right on the hip of Gunnett and then gunned it past him. Then this one, a little bit more of a stalker presser with Mulligan and post time. That was in a 1 mile cigar mile. So against 2 very good horses, Mulligan and post time, and he rolled on them. So I don't think that the post number 11 is going to hurt him that much. Gun runner can get out there as long as he can slide over and get in position and then just be in that 4 lengths off the lead sort of range. He can pounce. Power squeeze. I love the 4-year-old filly, but just way out here on an island by herself, I don't see her. She might be coming down the stretch in the end to claim a piece, like the fourth or fifth place check in this race, but I can't put her in there amongst these other ones, especially in the pick five. So what I'm hoping for is that the stronghold to be faster as he ran 102 mid pace. The mid pace is what I'm looking for here in this 9 furlong race. You can see 101 from locked, 101 100. That's strong enough. Then you have like Skippy Longstocking runs 102s and 103s, 110s in the middle. Uh, there's a couple right there. Mystik Dan was getting it done in the Preakness when he was still competitive, but he just lacked any response late. And the one I wanted to show you was, I believe, up here, Stronghold. You can see the 102, the 100, see 97, 107 down the stretch, can still hold on down the stretch. So that's kind of how I'm going in leg five. I'm going, I believe the number four is White Abarrio. The number six is Stronghold. The number 10 is Skippy, and number 11 locked. So four deep, 4, 6, 10, 11 in leg five. Late pick five tickets are like this. I like to do two different tickets with $100 budget. So they come out to about $48 a piece. I spread a little bit on the bookends, the legs one and five tickets that cost $48. I believe we have leg one. I may be wrong in my numbering because I did make some changes, but I apologize. The screenshots you see should be correct. Leg one, I've got the one, the nine, the 11, and the 12, four deep. Leg two is the one and the 10. Leg three, I'm singling the nine Emery. Leg four is five and seven. Those two, I think, are Mystic Lake. Let's see, I forgot. Yeah, let's see, I've already forgotten those two horses. So my apologies. Nation's Pride and Integration. I should have known that. Then leg five, we just mentioned 4, 6, 10, and 11. That's a $48 ticket. Ticket two is going to be very similar. Legs one and two are the same. The 1, 9, 10, 1, 9, 11, and 12, leg one. Then leg two is 110. Then leg three is a little bit different. I am going to add in the seven Mystic Lake to go along with Emery. So that's going to be 7, 9 for leg three. Then leg four is going to be 5, 7. And leg five, we are just going to go with the 4 and the 11. That's going to be White Abarrio and locked. So we're just going to tighten things up a little bit to make another $48 ticket. So that's going to do it for all the Pegasus content for the week. Like I said, I may come out with a quick hitter video tomorrow, doing some best bets, maybe a few long shots, value plays, some final thoughts on the Pegasus World Cup Invitational Dirt Race. And we have races 7 through 13, winners, exotics. Uh, here's your pick five hammer. So very best of luck this weekend, and we'll see you soon.